If you're a Texas contractor and your insurance guy doesn't speak your language, fire him. We specialize in Spanish-speaking tradesmen. Call today and we'll review your current policy for free. No pressure, just straight answers. You've seen the guy that's your bro. That's us. And just like I protected my grandfather from the sun, we protect you from life's challenges. I'm Mark Villasana, owner and agency principal with Northwest Insurance.
I actually heard about NW agencies through a friend of mine who's been using them for years. Honestly, I've been really impressed. They made the whole process so much simpler than I expected. I was always used to dealing with a lot of back and forth, but with NW it was straightforward, and I always felt like they had my best interests at heart.
We're a full-service independent agency. That means we don't work for a single carrier, we work for you. We've got access to over 100 carriers, so whether you're insuring your home, your truck, or your electrical business, we'll find the coverage that fits your needs and your budget.
It's been a game changer, really. I used to worry a lot about getting the right coverage, especially with my business and home, but now I feel much more confident. They helped me understand my options and made sure I had the right policy for both my business and personal needs.
We specialize in helping hardworking folks, contractors, tradesmen, laborers, the people who keep Texas running. Whether you're a framer in Floresville, a roofer in Seguin, or a plumber in San Antonio, we'll walk you through the process in plain English or Espanol.
We'll pour you a cup of coffee, talk you through your policy, and make sure you leave with more protection and more peace of mind than you came in with.
This is Northwest Insurance. We've got you covered.
Northwest Insurance. Northwest Insurance. Auto business, home and more. Who said insurance was born? Protect your car, protect your family. Northwest Insurance. If you need a helpful team, the best in the community, grab your phone, what are you waiting for? Northwest Insurance. Northwest Insurance.
Hola, hola, hola. Welcome to the latest episode of Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. I'm your host, Mark Villasana, and joining me as always is my BFF, marketing manager for Northwest Insurance, Miss Lila Levy. Hello, Lila. How are you doing, my friend?
How are you? It's so good to see you.
Good to see you. What's been going on? I know what's been going on, but please explain.
Well, for our thousands and thousands and thousands of insurance junkies. I have been thousands. So many that it bends our server.
Yes.
It bends it back.
Wi-Fi
for all the IT lovers.
Wi-Fi band is not thick enough, but go ahead. I digress.
So you and I have been friends, and I know we've talked about this on several episodes, but for those newbies tuning in, you and I have been friends for 19 years.
Yeah.
Next year it'll be 20 years. We know each other through being on the task force for the state fair.
Correct.
2 years ago, I started working for you in a marketing kind of in the field capacity, and it's become more of a full-time job. And you and I both know how much I love New York City.
Love New York City.
And
Can't get enough. You can't talk enough about New York City.
I can't talk enough about it. I can't see The Outsiders enough. I can't see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child enough. So you have been very kind and said, look, you really thrive in New York. Why don't you go there and work remotely, and we'll get everything done that we can get done, but you're there and I'm here. So I did that in June, and then I just did that again. I just came back Monday, and today is Wednesday, and so I was there 19 days this visit. It was a shorter visit. It was a shorter.
Well, it's really to our benefit because we're tired of hearing about New York. We're like, just go, get on, do what you got to do. So I love, my favorite part of the day is when I call you and say, just call me during intermission. Because how many shows did you see this time?
So I was there 19 days and I saw 16 shows.
19 days, 16 shows.
Yes.
That's what we call junkie. You're a junkie.
For sure. And and again, as I referenced, I saw The Outsiders I saw The Outsiders 3 times, so now I'm officially seeing it 12 times. And I saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, my very favorite play, 3 more times, so now I've seen it 27 times.
Yeah, there's some. You might want to talk to somebody. I want to say. Now, do you get anything different out of each time, or is it an OCD thing, or what? I mean, really, seriously, why do you go at the same time? I mean, I get it because I saw Grease like 12 times, but but I was 11. But
And
go ahead.
you liked the leather jacket on the
Levy,
Pink
Newton
Ladies,
John, yes,
right?
but that's a whole different podcast.
Well, so if you flip the gender, I do quite enjoy seeing The Outsiders, which is a heavy male cast. I will tell you, I do quite enjoy that. I really, really love, and I love the story, and I just love the choreography. I love everything about The Outsiders, and the females in the musical are amazing. I love Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I just feel like I'm at home when I'm at the Lyric Theater, which is where it's performed. I'm also friends with some of the cast members, so I truly love supporting them and seeing their art on stage. Yeah. And I really do feel like I'm at home, like I said, when I go to the Lyric Theater. People think I'm crazy, but that's okay.
No,
they always
I mean,
have.
I know you're crazy, A, but B, I totally get it, because like I can hear a song and it literally takes me back to, a certain place, certain moment. That's really kind of almost time traveling, too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And everybody has their isms. Like I have friends who love Star Wars, and they've seen Star Wars so many times, or Grease 2. And so Harry Potter has become that for me. And I love musical theater so much. My life took on a different trajectory about 4 years ago. And I just love musical theater so much because you can be transported to another place for a few hours and really enjoy it.
Well, I can't wait. I'm glad you're back, but I'm sure I won't be able to wait until you head on back to New York.
I know, you'll be like, bye. Just go.
You're planning a trip back soon, aren't you?
November. Yes.
Okay. Just wondering. Anyway, talking about isms, our guest today, and we'll introduce her shortly, is probably, I'd say her ism is insurance.
Yes.
Yeah, she's revolutionary.
She's a dynamo.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And we will introduce her, but before we do that, we have to, we got to do.
We have to talk about insurance.
We have to talk about insurance. You know why, don't you?
But because it's inland marine?
No.
Oh.
Because of the thousands and thousands and thousands of emails we get. Like, please talk more insurance.
That are bending our server backwards.
So we have a big one today, Lila. We're going to talk about auto insurance because it's very relative to who our guest is. So I'm going to give a brief description of what auto insurance is. And as always, I suggest to everyone, please contact your local agent. Or if you have any questions, go online or give my office a call because this is just a brief description. And there's so many intricacies to all different types of policies. But anyway, let's start with auto insurance. Auto insurance is like all the things we talk about, all the types of insurance. It's a safety net, right? Mm-hmm. If you cause an accident, it helps pay for the damage, whether it's someone else's car, their medical bills, or even your own vehicle. In Texas, it's very good. It's not only a good idea; it's the law. You've got to prove that you can pay for the accidents you cause, and most folks do that by buying liability insurance. And that, like I mentioned, it is the law, so everyone should have liability. And there are certain limits of liability. It's like any type of policy, you can adjust those limits, but the state of Texas does have a minimum rule of what the limits you would need to have. And it's really called the 30-60-25 rule. And basically, that means that your policy must include $30,000 for injuries per person. That also includes $60,000. The total value of the policy is $60,000 per accident, and $25,000 for property damage. So these are the minimum limits of an auto liability insurance policy that you need to have. The state of Texas says you do. But these limits, again, might not be enough if you're involved in an accident with a more expensive car, if you injure someone. So these are really just the baseline. I do suggest you talk to your agent or get online, again, ask questions, because the state minimum limits might not be enough what you need, So for example, Lila, if I were to hit a car full of people and unfortunately injure 5 or 6 different people, and I had these state minimum limits, my policy would be exhausted. And so there would be no more coverage. Ergo, they might be able to come after my personal effects. So that's something to think about. Again, you need to talk to your local agent. But really, there's 8 key coverages to any auto policy. And one of them, we talked about liability, and that pays for the other person's car and medical bills if you are at fault. So if you cause an accident, it does not cover your own car. Second addendum to a typical auto policy is collision coverage, and that pays to fix or replace your car after a crash, no matter who caused it. So if you're at fault, or am I at fault, if I have collision coverage, my car gets damaged, my auto policy is telling me they will fix it. Okay. And if you have a car loan, Lila, you're almost all the time required to cover to have collision coverage because the bank or the financial institution wants to make sure that their rear end is covered. Something happens to that vehicle. So, third caveat of a typical auto policy is comprehensive coverage. And what that does is that covers non-crash damage, for example, theft, fire, hail, flood, or vandalism. And what I like to say is comprehensive covers anything that happens to the vehicle when it is not moving.
Gotcha.
Collision coverage.
That's an easy way to remember.
Yeah, that's what I try to explain. My collision coverages would be the opposite. It's when you hit something, someone hits you, or you're driving it. There's a medical payments coverage to the auto policy, and what medical payments differs from another type of policy, which is called personal injury protection. But medical payments pays for medical bills for you and your passengers in a nutshell. Even if you're walking or biking, so if you have this coverage in your policy, that coverage follows you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
A different type of medical coverage is called personal injury protection, and that is like medical payments, Lila, but it also covers lost wages. Okay, so it's really the same coverage, but you add lost wage coverage on that. But personal injury protection is not automatically offered, but it's something you have to opt out of. Okay, so if you're buying an auto insurance policy, they will always ask you, do you or do you not want personal injury protection? So
I have a question.
Please.
If you're a couple back, back in like 95, I was walking across the street and a car bumped me and I fell to the ground. I was not injured, but I was paid. A guy was driving his grandmother's car and they sent me the insurance company called me and I got sent a check for like $250 because I wasn't injured. So which one would that have been under?
Well, liability coverage.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was at fault.
I've always wondered that. Yeah.
Did you hit your head by chance?
No. I just fell on. I just fell on my body.
That's really terrible. Gosh, I'm glad you weren't hurt.
It was. One of my friends I was with was like, "Don't tell me how much you're hurting a few months from now," and you didn't pursue like going to the doctor. And I was like, "Seriously, I'm fine. Like I just fell and hit my bottom."
Okay.
So
well,
thank you. If that happened right now, who knows what would happen? But this was 30 years ago, and I was much younger.
Okay. Well, a portion of a typical auto insurance policy or a potential auto insurance policy, because all these coverages you can add or delete. You can choose what you want to. The only thing you have to have is the liability.
Right.
One of them is called uninsured or underinsured motors coverage, which protects you, Lila, if the other driver does not have insurance. Okay, or do they not have enough insurance? So, for example, someone hits you that only has a state minimum limits of liability, that 30, 60, 25 we discussed. But they hit you and I believe you're driving a Rolls Royce these days?
Yeah, that's what I'm driving.
If they hit you in your Rolls Royce, that wouldn't be nearly enough to pay for even just the repairs of that. So uninsured motorists, if they had uninsured motorists, this would be an addendum to their liability coverage and add on to that, yeah. Or actually you'd be purchasing it for the other person. You're buying liability coverage for those people that do not carry enough,
right,
or do not have liability insurance. Of course, there's towing and rental, labor, which is almost self-explanatory, and then finally rental reimbursement. If you're involved in an accident, your car's disabled, you have the ability for the insurance company to reimburse you for rental coverage. So again, you can adjust coverages, and I suggest you talk to either myself or another. Your local agent, because like any policy, there's so many different ways and means to get to the end result, what you need to protect you cover properly. So that being said, we discussed auto insurance, and the reason I did that is because, as I mentioned, our guest, which we'll get to here in just a second, has revolutionized the way people purchase auto insurance. And I'm going to go ahead and give away the name of her company because we have a special episode because her company is sponsoring this episode. But just to give you a quick hint, it's www.myclickinsurance.com. So today's episode is sponsored by MyClickInsurance.com. And when we come back, we will introduce our very special guest and go over her impressive biography because it is...
Yeah, I need her autograph.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, but I mean... kudos to her. Okay. You've been listening and watching to Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas, and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back on Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. Lila, we were talking about auto insurance before we took a break, and the reason we discussed auto insurance today is because of who our guest is. And I mentioned you, it's impressive. She has such an impressive resume. And I don't want to. The only way I can do it justice really is to go over it all. So if you bear with me, I'm going to.
I will. She blew the doors off.
Yeah, I mean,
she walked in today.
There's no way I can improvise this resume.
I know.
What I mean? So I'm just going to go ahead. Our guest is founder and CEO of MyClick Car Insurance, a Texas-based non-standard auto insurance managing general agent, revolutionizing access to coverage for immigrant families without a driver's license. Such a current event. So. What a great time to be in this business. MyClick empowers customers to pay for their insurance easily using their mobile devices and cash at retail locations, bridging gaps in financial accessibility and driving inclusion in the insurance market. Prior to founding MyClick, Maria worked at Hunt, where she played a pivotal role in establishing the firm's power trading business and evaluating infrastructure investments that deliver electricity to communities across the United States and globally. Wow. She also led private equity investments in Mexico and Latin America, channeling capital into markets with limited funding access and helping stimulate economic growth in undeserved regions. Before joining Hunt in 2004, she worked at KPMG, gaining foundational experience in finance and accounting before leaving in 2002 to pursue her MBA. Her passion for economic development and entrepreneurship led her to serve as Chief Financial Officer for Sachem Ventures, 1.5 multi-million student-run venture capital fund at Yale University. Wow. Where she supported early-stage investments and helped shape the strategic direction of the fund. She is deeply engaged in her community, reflected throughout her extensive leadership and committee involvement. She has served on the boards, Lila, of Northeast Texas Girl Scouts, Dallas Committee on Foreign Relations, the Dallas Summit, and On the Road Lending, an innovative auto financing company. Currently, she is on the board of Friends of Barack Obama Male Leadership Academy, which is an all-boys leadership academy dedicated to developing future leaders. I mean, there's so much
I'm
more.
embarrassed that I do what I do
There's
because
more.
it doesn't.
Bear
Okay.
with me. Her achievements have earned her widespread recognition. The Dallas Business Journal named her to its prestigious 40 Under 40, celebrating the most influential young leaders in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She was also honored with the Women in Technology Award for her groundbreaking contributions at the intersection of insurance and technology. In 2025, she is a finalist for the Tech Titans Emerging CEO Award. It's a distinction reserved for visionary leaders who confront complex challenges head-on, inspire their teams to reach extraordinary heights, and drive their companies towards transformative, lasting success. That pretty much describes her, by the way. She earned her bachelor's degree with honors in economics and mathematics from the University of Houston and an MBA from Yale University. She currently resides in Dallas, is married, and has one teenage daughter. Lila, ladies and gentlemen, and insurance crazies across the world, please help me in welcoming Miss Maria Coello. Hello, Maria. How are you doing, my friend?
Hola, Mark.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Thank you, Maria.
You know,
Thank you.
she knows the way to her.
And Shalom.
Now, I do call you my friend because I actually know you before all this stuff. Yeah, we met through the LAIA, which I am the president of currently.
Congratulations, by the way. You have a very, very impressive resume, too. Your bio is amazing.
No,
Yes.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But I mean, nothing compared to hers, Lila. I mean, come on.
Not nothing, but wow.
Yeah,
She did
well.
truly blow the doors off when she walked in today.
Congratulations, first of all, on all your success. And getting back to how we met, I met you through the LAIA, which you came to speak. You've been such a gracious supporter since day one because of your product, which is MyClickInsurance.com. Just to people who don't know what that is, please just give me a brief overview of exactly what that is and how you started it.
Yeah, so why don't I take you back to why I started it, right? The reason behind it. I think that once you have a why, the how it happens, because that purpose, that mission in life really will drive you forward. So I started MyClick in 2015 because that's when I started researching it. It's a very complex industry, so you have different pieces of the puzzle to put together. But I started researching in 2015 because I realized that in the insurance industry, people were still faxing documents in 2015, right? They were very, very slow to innovate. Clients will drive 30 minutes to an insurance agency to pay a policy online, cash. So I started asking, why is this happening? And I realized that the major insurance companies had not invested in the technology around a consumer that unfortunately had a different lifestyle than your traditional American consumer. So, for example, my consumer is someone who cuts the grass, works at McDonald's. It's a hardworking American person, but they are paid paycheck to paycheck, right? So if 1 month they don't have the money to pay their insurance, then under a traditional model, they will cancel the policy, and sometimes they will even charge them additional fees for canceling the policy. So I saw this happening, and I said, no, that doesn't make sense. If you don't have the money to pay for the insurance, then turn off the policy and turn it back on when you have the means to do it. And that's what I designed the system. So I designed the system with the consumer in mind, in order for them to turn on and off the policies. So that's the intersection of finance and technology that you were discussing earlier. If you, for example, are paying cash, but you're buying the policy online and you don't have a credit card, how do I do that? Then I text them a barcode where they can take that barcode to any Family Dollar, 7-Eleven, or CVS and pay cash at one of these 1,000 locations all over Texas. So that's how that's my drive, right? It's solving a problem that the traditional insurance industry had just forgotten, and nobody was serving these demographics, which you and I know in Texas is $1 billion market. So it's a big problem to solve, and I'm excited. I'm super excited to be at the forefront of changing this.
Yeah, I almost liken it to a self-service gas station.
Correct.
I mean, you can access the policy online, like you said, because I deal a lot with the same clientele, right? When they have the money, they're going to pay for their insurance, and if it's 1 or 2 day 2 or 3 days lapsed, they will come right back and pay for it again. And this way, this provides them a way that they can do all that from the comfort of their home or the comfort of their phone, really.
Correct.
And we'll get into all the what the product can do. And again, it is MyClickInsurance.com. But I want to, you mentioned that, insurance is a passion, but that's not where your background is it? It's technology, isn't it?
My background is in finance.
Finance,
actually.
okay.
So yes.
So what led you to insurance?
Yes, so it's a funny story. So we migrated to America in the early 1990s, right? And we migrated to Houston. And it's Houston, as you know, doesn't have public transportation. It's like any other Texas city.
Right.
We're not like from New York, right?
Right. Right. You have to have a car in Houston.
Right. You don't have to have a car in New York.
Right.
So we're driving back from church on a Sunday morning, and the car catches on fire, right? So here we are, newly immigrated to America. Our car is our source of income because my parents go to work, we go to school. So what do? A Good Samaritan stops by, and this is pre-cell phones. It's 1990s. Right. So he stops by, he calls the firefighters, they put the fire away. But luckily, my dad had bought insurance. So the insurance paid for it, and our life continued. Everything was back to normal within days. So that experience really stuck with me. And it's the drive behind what I do, is providing protection to those who don't typically have protection.
Right.
So those underserved community. And that is the why. That is the reason I get up every day to do what I do.
And you started in 2018. And prior to that, you were in just finance?
So yes. So I don't have a technology background, but I have a degree in math. So I understand logic, and I understand, if-then statements. If this happens, these are the results, input, output. So I get that. I get those concepts really easily. So one thing that when I was researching in insurance, and that's why I call it a calling. For me, it's truly a calling, because I had never built a system, but it came so natural to me that I was like, oh, I think I can do this. And my husband looked at me, Marie, you've never built a system. You don't know. I thought C# was a musical note, right? I didn't know what JavaScript was, Angular, all these technology terms. And I don't have a computer science background, but it came so natural. I was like, it is truly a calling. I'm meant to do this.
Yeah, that is awesome. And when I was reading your resume, it says, kind of focuses on the immigrant family. Obviously, your background played a big part in that. And you want to be able to provide easy access to something that they should have. So talk about that a little bit. Talk about why that's important to you.
So I think sometimes what happens in the immigrant community in the United States is that they are left out to their own means, right? It's like, oh, okay, so you came to America to work, because that's what we come here to do, is to work and progress and provide support to our families. So we come here to work, and then the industries that provide services to us don't understand our behavior, don't understand our way of life. And for those of us who had seen it and who had lived it, can go back and say, oh, it doesn't have to be like that. You can buy online, but you can pay cash at 7-Eleven. It doesn't have to be like that, because if you don't have the financial means to pay a policy, you can turn it off, and then you can pay back when you can turn it back on when you have the means, right? If you add and delete vehicles constantly because that's your lifestyle, you can do that. So very few companies have taken the consumer in mind and provided product to solve that solution, a solution to solve that problem. I think, to me, with the passion behind it, it's that I'm giving back to the immigrant community the same way that I was provided when I was younger.
And we're talking about the immigrant community, or anything we talk about immigration. Unfortunately, during these times, political times, that's an issue, and it's become such an issue here currently. Have you noticed, has that rhetoric or the actions maybe that have been taken by this administration, has that affected business at all? Because I know, and I could go on about myself, but we're talking about your wonderful company, which is MyClick Insurance.com. Have you noticed that's affected you at all?
So, two things, right? First, in the past, in December 2024, in the past, the consumer will make the policy lapse. It's like, if I don't drive with insurance for 1 month, I'll be okay.
Right.
Today, they want to be protected, right? So they will probably put more of an effort to make sure that their coverage is active, just to be protected. So I've noticed that. So from the business side of view, I think that the consumer is more aware and want to protect themselves. Now, are those they are consumers who have left, right? Because they have left the country.
Right.
So that is influencing the total number of policies that we're selling. That's not keeping me up at night, to tell you the truth, because I launched in 2018. Trump was president. And this will pass, right? America is a resilient capitalist economy, and this will pass. And we're not. So I'm not a political person, right? I don't follow politics. I don't let that keep me up at night. So I'm very optimistic in the American capitalist system, and this will pass.
Well, I would say in any business, I've been around long enough that there's been ups and downs in the industry, and it's just all about adaptability, right? If this road's not taking you where you need to go, you go down a different road. So, which you've done in your past. She started out in 2018. I think I heard you say at one point things didn't take off exactly like it wanted to.
Yeah.
So what did you have to change to make it the success it is now?
Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes is from Winston Churchill, right? Success is going from failure to failure without losing optimism, because things sometimes don't work out the way you want to work out, and then you have to try it again. So I started a digital product, right? So it's a digital platform where consumers can go to my platform and buy the policy online. And then I realized, well, the consumer is not a digital consumer. The consumer is hearing on the radio and is hearing on the TV where they can buy policies. So the marketing, it should be a traditional marketing. Even though it's a digital product, the marketing was when I first launched, I also launched the digital marketing. So that was a mistake because I didn't realize that the consumer was listening to radio and TV and the traditional media. So I had to change my marketing strategy. You were asking me, what I did. So I changed the marketing strategy. Then I would call it Click because it's fast and easy, right? My passion is for consumers to, instead of driving 30 minutes to make an insurance payment, why don't you spend that time with your family? Enjoying dinner, enjoying TV with your family. Why drive 30 minutes to make a cash payment? So when you were asking me about how we changed, that had to change too, and that had to, like, maybe we should partner with companies like Pay Near Me and offers this payment system at 7-Eleven, Family Dollar. So that had to change too. So as I learn about the business, I have to add. And for example, one thing that we're doing right now that I'm super excited with AI, I'm doing AI agents, right? Because it's changing. So I have to adopt those new technologies. Right. So I just think that in any business, not just insurance, being in any business, I think as a CEO, you have to always be open to change constant because technology is going to be changing. So you have to change.
Yeah. The barcode, it really piqued my interest when you said initially about taking the barcode to 7-Eleven and being able to pay cash for your. That is so innovative. It's so creative. It's so current. It's just so that just blows my mind. Now, did you? And I mean this in a very complimentary way, but in an inquiring way, did you have a platform that you followed that was going on in another state?
No, I read a lot. So if you're trying to figure out how do you come up with these ideas?
Right. Yeah.
So I do. I'm a voracious reader. So I'm reading technology. I'm reading insurance. I'm reading fiction. I'm reading biography.
So you just melded this.
I love reading.
That's amazing.
I would say from my perspective, being a long-term insurance agent, one of the most impressive things that you've done is your relationship you developed with the 7-Elevens and these other places. So I'd like to talk about that. Why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll discuss how you got in the door with them and made it so accessible for everybody to be able to make their payments. You've been listening to Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. This episode is sponsored by MyClickInsurance.com. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back on Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. This episode is sponsored by MyClickInsurance.com. We were talking to founder of that company, Miss Maria Coello. Maria, real quick, I mentioned before we went to break, I'm so impressed with the relationship you developed with all these different corporations that allowed the customers to go in and make their payments. And I want to summarize real quick exactly what your platform does. You were able to purchase a policy, an auto insurance policy, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can purchase liability only or full coverage, correct?
Correct, yes.
And you can make basically service that policy throughout the existence of a policy right there on your own from the comfort of your home.
Correct.
And if you do need to make a payment, or for God forbid you're late on a payment and your policy lapses, they can just reinstate it by going into where all the locations they can make a payment at.
So 7-Eleven, Family Dollar, CVS.
Okay.
So the way it works is your policy lapses, we rewrite it. Because I own the system, I have the data, which means that I can just bring that data and in seconds you can have your policy again, right? You don't have to wait for an underwriter to review your policy and then restate it. This happens in seconds, in real time.
Okay.
Because I own the system, all the underwriting is in real time. So for example, if you have any violations, I will know violations. I will know where your household drivers are, the vehicles in that household. So all the data that is available with public records, I have it in real time. Why is that important? That's important because once I sell you a policy, the price will not change. Historically, insurance companies will sell you a policy and then days later they will say, oopsie, we just found this traffic ticket, your price is going to go up. That doesn't happen with my policies. Once I say it's whatever, $100, it is $100, and the price will not go up.
That's awesome. I want to get into your journey real quick, but before I do, I want to say that you've taken it one step further. That you haven't completely eliminated the independent insurance agent like myself. Now you've kind of partnered with them, right? You want to explain that little program you've got going?
Yes. So because I am online directly to the consumer can buy the policy, pay the policy, add vehicles, delete vehicles, drivers, change address, everything online from the comfort of their homes. We started partnering with, and it's a true partnership with the agents. It's not a situation where the agent sells the policy and then services the policy. And for your listeners, servicing a policy in the insurance industry, what it means is making changes to that policy, right? That's what servicing a policy means. And historically, the insurance agent will do all that on behalf of the consumer. What I tell the insurance agencies like yourself that we've partnered is you don't have to do any of that. We can do all that. We'll do because we're already doing it. Since we're already going directly to the consumer, we understand the consumer. We love the consumer. For us, it's a joy to help them. It's not as stressful or it's not a pain. We truly enjoy helping our consumers. So if the insurance agent is busy and they have a lead, they want to send them to us, and we'll be happy to follow up and sell that policy and then service it.
I definitely want to say, as an independent agent who has partnered with you, it what I look at it as is like an additional product, right? We have a link to your website on my website, and we had someone purchase a policy that I wasn't even aware of, So someone probably was just searching the internet one day. I came across my website, and we have a button that says buy insurance 24/7 here, and they went to that and they purchased a policy. So I will say, for anybody that needs to buy insurance online, whether you're an insurance agent, you think maybe this product's trying to get rid of me, no, you can actually partner with this product and make, I like I said, you're open 24/7 when you connect with her. But now we've developed what a wonderful product you've innovated and you've come up with. Let's talk about a little bit how you got here, and what brought you to the point to decide to open up your own company, and what made you stick with it? Because I know, as starting my agency on my own, it was, many times you just want to say, forget about this. I'm going to go back to doing what they pays me a salary. So,
that's right.
Yeah, talk about that, please.
No, so I hear that question all the time, and it's a hard decision, right? Because you have a stable job, you have a stable salary, and leave all that and start something from scratch, from zero, and with a hope, right? With a dream, with a desire that it will work. Then it's a big commitment. It is a big commitment. So when my friends and when I get asked this question is, I have a stable job, should I leave it to start this business? And then the first question that I ask them is, are you thinking about this business every day? Like, it's in your head every day. Are you thinking about it? Like, for example, you on this podcast, right? Were you thinking about this podcast and then you will go away and then you will come back, or you at night, it will come back. If it's in your head all the time, then I think you should do it, right? It's not something that is just fleeting moment. If it's there, it's your passion, is your mission, I think you should do it. And I think you should burn, and I like to say it, burn the boats, right? Like, you should actually quit your job and start your own business and give it 1,000%, because that's the only way that it's going to succeed. It's not going to succeed if you have a foot in your full-time job and a foot here, right? You really have to burn the boats and start your business full-time, giving it 1,000% of your time and your energy, because that's what the business is going to take to succeed.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it won't take off the ground.
Correct. Yeah, and I'll get a little deeper than that. I mean, beyond that, you only have one life to live, right? So why not do what you want to do? And I think it's a commitment that you make. Once you make that commitment, I think things come a little easier. The stuff that you maybe felt uncomfortable to do in the past, if you realize yourself, you only got one shot at this thing, and you just let go, and you can.
And you have that dream. I love when people talk about their dream, because I know, like, what my dreams look like, dreams look like, but it's always really interesting to see what other people's dreams look like. And this is, I mean, Mark and I talked about it yesterday and today, and just how innovative MyClick is. Like that, you would think to start this company, and it's from a helpful chair that you want to do it because of what, like you said, what happened coming back from church that day, and it just left such a big imprint in you, and on you. And how big? I want to know, how large is your company now? You said you started in 2018, right? So how many employees? How big is your staff?
Okay, so that's a great question, right? Because I'm small and I had to survive COVID. I had to survive inflation. So the way I organized it, I have a core employees, but then I have a lot of outsource. So for example, my marketing is done out of Colombia. My tech team, the people who help me manage, working with together, they are in Kuala Lumpur. Right now, the AI that I'm working on, they are in London.
Yeah.
So I have my back office is in India, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you ask me about my team, I have a big team, but it's global in order to provide low cost. And so that's how I'm able to find these different pockets of people throughout the world. So that's how I survive.
That's where her finance background comes in.
Exactly. I mean, that is so. Yeah. I don't want to overuse the word brilliant, but that really is brilliant. I mean, it's so smart. Like you said, you have to watch your budget, but to be able to do that and keep up with technology and everything going on, you're outsourcing. Honestly, as she was saying that, I was thinking of your marketing team. I mean, because think about your marketing. It's not just me.
I'm not going to do this domestic stuff. I'm going straight just outsource to Israel. So
you're on your way. You're on your way.
I tell you what, something that I really noticed real quick is that the passion you had to help people, and that I think that kind of, I don't know if to me it does, but it seems that it motivates you to do better just for them, which is great. I mean, would that come from just your humble beginnings, humble background?
Yes. Yes. My personal experience, of course, has a lot to do with that. Many people helped me along the way, and I want to give back, right? I feel the more you give, the more you receive. Yeah. It's that is the magic of life. It's always being in service, always protecting. And I like to joke, and I mentioned this to you before the podcast, I like to joke that insurance is the oldest profession.
Get your head out of the gutter, Lila.
No, just for this podcast, I will.
Okay. Yeah, that is true, but it's true. And I think you quoted a Bible verse,
correct?
Right?
It's in Genesis, right? Right? When at the very beginning of Genesis, God is telling Adam and Eve, don't eat from this tree and you'll have life forever, right? You have eternal life. And they didn't buy the policy, and see now where the entire humankind is, right? So insurance is an amazing product, and I am thrilled to be part of the industry.
Well, when I met you, I guess it was almost a year ago, or maybe a little longer than that. I was impressed with just the brief description I got from you. But now, having spoken to you and hearing more about your story, I'm just so much impressed with you. And I would dare say she's one of my heroes now at this point. Yeah, I mean, just from what you've done, being in the industry as long as I have been, and knowing what a difficult journey it must have been just to get the product out there, and that's a whole nother podcast.
It took me 3 years to get the product out there.
Just to get the product out there, just because how long it took me just to open up my little bitty office 30 years ago, and all the hoops and stuff you had to go through, especially with Texas regulators and stuff like that, is amazing. So it's so impressive, Lila. But I'm afraid we have to end this. But before we do, we know what we need to do. We need to ask her 5 questions.
Yeah, we're gonna rapid fire on 5 questions.
Explain it to you, Lila. Explain
the
rules.
We have 5 questions for you. They're rapid fire questions and rapid fire answers, and it just lets our thousands and thousands of listeners and viewers know more about you. Yeah. Okay, the first one is, what is your go-to Tex-Mex restaurant here in DFW, and what's your go-to dish when you go there?
Calle 12, of course. It's Mexican, but it's Calle 12, and it's paella. I love their paella. It's so good.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
Calle 12 in Oak Cliff.
I love it. You got to go to the OG.
Yeah.
Okay, same question, but with barbecue, favorite restaurant, and what do you order typically there?
I love Dickie's, and I like their ribs. I can read them with my hands, the ribs and all juicy and getting all dirty with my hands. I love that.
Do you ever go to any of these fancy barbecue restaurants where they make you weigh it by the pound, all that stuff?
Sometimes, but Dickies is the one that I like.
Dickies screwed solid. Base hit every time. Yeah, that's a great answer. Plus, you get to take that yellow cup home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love the yellow cup. Okay.
You do the next
sure?
one. Yes, because I always mess it up.
Okay.
Every time.
In your opinion, you're a native Dallasite now, right? Okay. So in your opinion, this is, if you're a football fan, the big question is, who is the best head coach in the history of the Dallas Cowboys? And there's usually two answers that people give. Who would you say that would be?
So,
are you a football fan, first of all?
I am not a football fan. So I'm not a football fan, so no.
So you're just going here blind. I like that.
But he's very famous here in Dallas.
Yes.
He's very famous. Help me, Mark. It's with an L. I think it starts with an L.
Tom
Brady.
Landry, right. Okay, so yes. So Tom Landry was the original coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He coached for 30 years. So that's probably where you heard it.
Landry, that's it.
That is Landry. I like that.
He's the original OJ.
Yeah,
see, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing insurance on Sundays. I'm just doing football.
That tells you where I'm at, because I'm watching football on the couch all day, Lila. Great answer, though. I agree with you 100%. So correct answer on that one.
Yeah, I agree too. Okay, this is the JFK assassination.
Oh.
Do you think it was lone gunman, or are you going to walk down the conspiracy theory road?
So I've been to the museum, right?
Okay.
And the museum does a really good job at putting all the theories out there. So I think it was a conspiracy. I think it was mafia. I think it was the mafia.
The mafia.
Wow.
I like that. And they like the mafia. I think they were involved somewhere.
I like the mafia.
Now, had you heard about the assassination before you immigrated? Okay, so that was a world.
JFK assassination is very famous all over the world.
Okay, so it must have been exciting to actually live in the city and go see all that stuff.
It's tons of history, tons of information. Actually, I've been to Cuba, because there's a Cuba, there's a Cuba link there too. So right, so
the mafia worked with the Cubans. The mafia was involved. They had that casinos in Cuba.
I know.
Well, you know what? If we sat here, the three of us, especially with the Yale graduate here, we could figure it out. We definitely could figure out the JFK conspiracy. Okay, last question. Great answer, by the way. So you're conspiracy buff. I like that. Last question. If I asked you, Maria, who is Dallas? What person represents Dallas to you? I might say Maria at this point. Yeah, but please.
So that's the beauty about Dallas, right?
Right.
Dallas has so many personalities. We have football, we have insurance, we have finance, we have real estate, we have banking, we have so many industries. We have the Ross Perot's of the world, with the HL Hands in oil. Technology with TI. I would say that the Dallas persona is someone who has a truly can-do attitude, right? If you can think it, you can do it here in Dallas. No, it's not an answer for you. You will figure out a way to make it happen in Dallas. So I think it's a persona with a can-do attitude.
Like an attitude. Yeah, I like that. Dallas is a good attitude. Can do.
Yeah.
Big D can do. I like the fabulous answer. Out of the box answer, but from an out of box personality, out of box person, an innovative person who I've come to know and respect, thankfully. Maria, thank you so much for being here. I want to say, again, this episode is sponsored by MyClickInsurance.com. You can go to MyClickInsurance.com and purchase insurance 24 hours a day. You can service your own policies. Anytime you don't make any kind of changes, you want to add a driver, you want to delete a driver, anything you need to do that policy, you can do 24/7 on MyClickInsurance.com. I want to thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for sponsoring this podcast.
It's really a joy.
Thank you. We will be back next time on Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. Thank you.
Whether you're racing to work or just enjoying a cruise on a Sunday afternoon, we can do that. It does not matter if it's a beat-up clunker of a daily driver or a supercar that you love with all your heart, we cover it. Perhaps you need business insurance to get on a job site or just want that safety net for your employees, we have that also. Don't forget about your most important asset of them all, your home. What I'm trying to say is that at Northwest Insurance Agency, we do it all.
Northwest Insurance. Get covered under the umbrella.
Northwest Insurance.